Hello, let's talk about the first conditional. Well, let's start with what it is. So we use the first conditional to talk about real possibilities in the future. Things that are not happening now, but they might happen in the future. It's a very real possibility. For example, if it rains tomorrow, I will stay at home. It's possible it might rain tomorrow. If it does, I will stay at home. If you've finished, you can continue with the next exercise. If you're not doing your homework, you'll have to help me with the housework. Okay, so let's look at this example. If it rains all day tomorrow, I will be sad. So that first bit, if it rains all day tomorrow, that is the condition. Okay, so the clause that has if is the condition. I will be sad is the result clause. Okay, that's the thing that will happen as a result of the condition. We can also call it the main clause. Another example, if you have finished, you can continue with the next task. So if you have finished is the condition clause, and you can continue with the next task is the result. So in the if clause or the conditional clause, we use the present tense. It can be present simple, it can be present continuous, present perfect, it doesn't matter, but present tense. In the main clause or the result clause, we need to use a future tense or an imperative or a modal verb. So it can be any future tense. It can be I will be, future simple. It could be future continuous. I will be doing. Could be future perfect. It could be the present continuous used for the future. Or it could be going to, which is a form of the present continuous, but used for the future. Okay, so any of those future forms, or an imperative that gives you a command, all right, or a modal verb, for example, can, must, should. Okay. Notice we use a comma after the if clause. If you have finished, comma, you can continue with the next task. If it rains all day tomorrow, comma, I will be sad. Let's have a look at this example. If Mary sees a spider, she will scream. Now we can actually write it with the main clause first, before the if clause, before the conditional. So that would look like this. Mary will scream if she sees a spider. Now, notice in the first example, we have the comma. If Mary sees a spider, comma, she will scream. Whereas in the second example, there is no comma. So if the conditional clause, the if clause comes first, we use a comma. If the main clause comes first, we don't use a comma. Let's look at some examples. John won't be happy if Sarah comes home late tonight. If Sarah comes home late tonight, John won't be happy. So in the second example, the conditional clause comes first, so we have a comma. In the first example, the main clause comes first, or the result comes first, so we don't have a comma. Don't worry if you haven't finished yet. If you haven't finished yet, don't worry. So again, when we have the conditional clause first, we use a comma. If we have the main clause first, we don't. Okay, and here we've got if with the present perfect, so a present tense, And the main clause is an imperative. Don't worry. You're telling someone what to do. In the final example here, Sam will be happy if he can finish his coffee. If Sam can finish his coffee, he will be happy. We can use a modal verb in the if clause, in the condition. We treat it just the same as any present tense. Okay. Now, there are some other ways to express the conditional. Instead of if, we can use any of these phrases: as soon as, before, until, unless, after, when, in case. Let's consider what they mean. So as soon as, we use it to mean immediately. So something happens straight away. Before, obviously the action happens first. Or rather, the main clause happens before the conditional clause. Until means before a time. Unless means if not. After would be opposite of before, so it happens next. When happens during the same time period. And in case, we're getting ready for a possible action. Let's look at some examples so that it makes sense. Okay. I'll wash my hands as soon as I get home. So I'll wash my hands immediately upon arrival home. Okay, as soon as I get home, I will wash my hands. Before I go to the gym, I'll post a letter. So we do the result action first before I go to the gym. I won't return it until you apologize. So I won't return it until the point when you apologize, until the time. Okay, so if you apologize, then I will return it. Unless it rains tomorrow, I'll go for a walk. So if it doesn't rain tomorrow, I'll go for a walk. If it rains tomorrow, I won't go for a walk. After is the opposite of before. So I'll go to the gym after I post the letter. So this sentence means the same as the sentence we looked at a little earlier. When I'm in London, let's meet up. So at some point during the time when I'm in London, let's meet up. And the last one, I'll take an umbrella in case it rains. So I'll take an umbrella, I will be prepared. Just in case it rains. We don't know. This is England after all. It could rain anytime. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. I hope that helped you.